So how hot are you? Greetings and welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. Yeah, you remember before Corona back in 2019, whenever we talked about temperature, it was whether or not the outside weather was going to be displayed in Fahrenheit or centigrade. And those were the days. Not anymore. All of these devices are starting to come out with a built-in thermometer. And of course, it's a little tricky kind of thing to get your body temperature, especially using different kind of probes and whatnot on here, because we're measuring skin temperature on your arm, which of course is different than forehead temperature. Forehead temperature, that they touch something to your forehead, or most likely point what you call an infrared gun or something to get your temperature, which is way different than the thermometer under your tongue that'll get you your internal temperature. So we'll take a look at what this one does. First, I want to tell you what it is. It's called the Kingwear KW37 Pro, coming to us from Banggood. They're carrying a lot of the health-oriented products these days. So we're seeing a bunch of different ones coming, making it really hard to decide what to get. So that's why we have these reviews, give you a chance to evaluate them against each other. It's got ultra-thin wristband, blood pressure, blood oxygen, IP68 on this one. A lot of them are just IP67, which means it may be pretty waterproof. Bluetooth 4, Android 4, 5.1 or above. It also works with the iPhone, touchscreen, press button. You've got these different app languages, and then the band itself is in a subset of those languages. All these things are supported, including temperature detection, which it's highlighted, and music control, brightness control, as well as all the other functions that it's highlighting. You've got a 1.3-inch TFT screen, 240 by 240 standard pixels, 160 milliamp hour battery for 10 days of standby and about 5 days of use and 2 hours charging. Typical of what we see in almost all of these, somewhere around week and a half, 2 weeks of standby and about a week or less of actual use. So let's take it out of the box and peel off its little cover. And doggone, doesn't it look just about like all of the others? Aha! We have 2 temperature probes on the back, and then the optical diodes right there, and of course the charging pins. Removable bands. What do you think? About 20 millimeters, 18, 20, 22, somewhere in that range. Rubberized, very flexible. Should be nice to wear. Thin. You can kind of see the screen there with a bottom here, which has got the touch plate on it. In the box, in addition to this, we've got, a charging case. Now, between a charging wire, a charging dock, and a charging case, they all operate differently. I like the wire the best because you can get replacements. This one, it's hardwired in here, so don't break this or lose it, or you won't be able to charge it. You open it up like a little window here, and you lay it in with the charging dock down. And of course, there's a cutout on the dock for the crown. Snap it closed, and you're locked in place. This I like because you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to get it in there right and get a good charge off of it, as opposed to the ones that use the alligator clip. So wire I like best. Second, this little case kind of contraption. And the worst are the alligator clip kind. Not that you're going to be buying based on how it charges, but since some of the basic differences between all of these are things like that, it might be something you'll consider. Looks like we got a screen protector that comes with this one if you want to put that on. And of course a manual, which we'll look at before we actually turn it on. Always do this because generally you cannot find these on the internet anywhere. If you lose it and you need it, it's really good to have a resource to go to, so you at least can freeze frame your YouTube screen and read the manual. So that's why I don't really talk about it, but I do show it on here. Oftentimes there's a few things I overlook or, golly, every now and then get wrong, and it's probably correct in the manual. So this one's got pictures, and it's got text, and it's loaded with stuff. And these are all different guides to the different functions. We will run through typical things on the watch, but when it comes to deeper stuff, like maybe calibrating the thermometer sensors, stuff like that, hopefully, is going to be covered here in the manual. Man, who wrote this thing? I hope they got paid a lot, because there's a lot of English words in here. Common faults and troubleshooting, and then a warranty card with it. Wow, that's rare. Okay, comes with a warranty card. And then the other side is all the Chinese side. Yeah, well, I think all we have left is to charge it up and turn it on. Quick press on the side button turns it on. Vibration, and there we are in the opening watch face. As in most of these watches, you slide down, you have some controls, settings, do not disturb, and your overall brightness level, which can go as low as that, and about 5 different steps. And it's too bright for us on full bright in here, so I'm going to put it about right at that level. Battery, and when you're linked, it'll show a linked thing going on there. Swipe to this side, and you've got your step count, distance traveled, calories burned. So it cycles through those when you swipe to the right. When you swipe to the left, you're going to get into your app drawer. When you swipe up, you get into your messages if you have any waiting from you as pushed from your phone. Of course, you've got to be tethered for that. So let's get back here to the app drawer and see that you've got your step count, which is exactly the same display we just saw when we went this way. So they're showing you a lot of different things in different areas that go to the same page. Sports now is a different story. You have walking, which is outdoors, indoor walking, running, and in running. Don't know really why there's a difference because there's no GPS in this watch. Cycling is here, climbing is supported, swimming, so it's waterproof, and a history that shows you a variety of activities that you've done, gives you some basic information related to them. Figured I'd run off a few for you so you could see them on the watch in action. So that's in the sports section. Then we have last night's sleep time information and a chart over the week, which is pretty cool to show you how your sleep is progressing. Don't normally see that. Then health. In health, we have your heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen, those 3 things, and they're pretty simple. You tap on it and it's going to give you a heart rate reading. There we go, 96, 97, 95, 94, it's zeroing in on it. Blood pressure, same kind of thing, same size digits, takes a little bit longer, so we won't belabor that. Again, not sure about the accuracy on all of these. You have to check against your own measured instruments if you get this to see if they're spot on or a little bit off. It's doing blood oxygen now using green diode technology. Those of you who have watched know that red diodes are better. They give a little bit better accuracy, it seems, but you can derive blood oxygen from the green diodes, and that's your health section. Sports, health, sleep, step count. Pretty simple. Where's temperature? Here's your messages. We saw that when we swiped up. You can set alarms, a music player, your QR code. Hello, this whole band is about taking temperature. Where is it? Oh my goodness, after you get through a timer and a stopwatch, you finally have temperature. When you tap it, it gives you a little bit of a notice on here that you want to wear it for at least 15 minutes so it can stabilize. This is not one of those at the airport type infrared gun things. They point at your head and get an instant temperature. This is something that's going to need to stabilize. It's in degrees centigrade, have not been able to see how to convert it to Fahrenheit, so you guys got to learn a new scale if you're in the USA. You're getting 2 measurements though. You're getting your skin temperature at top and an interpolation of body temperature below. And best I can say is if you're really monitoring this, check what your actual internal temperature is with the thermometer and see how close it measures up against the body temperature it shows here, okay? And if it's off a couple of degrees constantly in the same direction, well, just add or subtract those degrees. That should get you closer to being right on. Brightness we already saw, QR code. Here's camera where you can use this as a remote trigger for your phone camera. Find your phone, reset, and about just tells you it's the KW37 Pro and its version number. That's about it as far as the band itself goes. Now I want to show you the app. Link to Sport is the application that you're going to want. You can go to the Google Play Store. If you just use Link to, you'll notice there's a few of them. Link to Sport. Use the link in the show notes if you want to. That'll link you right over to it as well. And you'll get into the place where you can download it to your phone. Now, when you open it, and I'm covering because it's giving you your weather location in the upper left-hand corner, you get this opening page which has sports, heart rate. There's my active heart rate throughout the day, including when I did some intense exercising, and last night's sleep time broken down into deep, light, and wake state. It's not sophisticated enough to show REM sleep. Usually you need to have that red diode technology for the blood oxygen to get that. In the sports section, though, I do have a running exercise that I put on here, and it shows you a little bit about the types of data that it can collect, including your lowest and highest heart rate during that exercise period. So that's pretty cool. When you switch over to the other tabs, like this one, you can get into your overall step count. And each of these different exercises, we looked at the latest one, which was a running one, but you got whatever other ones that you've done, a category, and then you can go into them, and again, you can look at the basic information from there. Not too bad. No GPS support in the watch. You may be able to initiate a walk or a run or cycling from here and tie in with GPS. But it's a basic exercise watch. Now is where we finally, again, it's buried in here, not on the main tab. Over here on the exercise tab, hidden as a little card, is body temperature. And there is our record. And I want to show you these charts here. And you notice where it dips, goes completely off the chart when it's in the blue, which is body surface temperature, and your internal body temperature is this green that goes down to 35 degrees centigrade, it looks like, as your lowest. That's when I took the band off. And so it's not going to, give you ambient room measurements. You can't use it as an indoor thermometer or throw it in the pool, that kind of thing. It's going to be for your actual body temperature. That's what it's set for. But here you go. This is my throughout the day actual calculated body temperature, and it's showing the highest body temperature recorded. It does it against time with little charts and actual readings here. So as long as you're wearing it, you can get a really good consistent record visually here with the actual data, or graphically here. Here's again when I was exercising and doing some stuff, and you can see that the body surface temperature went all over the place, but the calculated internal body temperature was much more stable, even though my arm temperature was changing radically. One of the fun features is this has an alarm setting for it. You can set the high alarm. You can go no lower than 37.3 centigrade, but you can go way up there, whatever you would like to have as the alarm. Should your temperature rise to that level, it's settable right there. So a relatively decent way of implementing temperature analysis, buried in the app, buried on the band, but it is there. The band does blood pressure readings, and they have to be initiated manually, and they seem to be low for me. I think they're calibrated to the standard normal, 120/80, and then it gives you a calculation above or below that. Monitor this, compare it with your cuff if you're using one. Take your cuff for gold probably and adjust this accordingly if need be to get closer to what your actual blood pressure may be. It's not doing it every sequence time. It only shows the dots when you actually manually activate doing that from the watch. So not really good for blood pressure. Or blood oxygen, same thing, it's a single reading. It's not a continuous reading. This one's not meant for all of that stuff, but it is there for capturing body temperature primarily. That's the thing about this one, and doing some fairly decent stuff with some of your runs and walks. Here's where you get to the band. It's connected, and these are the different things that you can operate with. It doesn't have the do not disturb, so at night that it turns it off so it doesn't light up when you twist it but in the daytime it does. I like that feature. For this one, every night I go to bed, I have to go to the app and I have to turn that off. Otherwise, it lights up when I roll over. I can do continuous heart rate monitoring between certain set times in a certain interval, as low as 10 minutes, 30 or 60 for your heart rate. But again, nothing for blood oxygen or blood pressure. You do have the temperature monitoring on, and you can set the intervals again on that. I've got it set for every 10 minutes. It's 24/7. It's not going to do it against a certain time frame. So if you are in bed with a fever, this is a great way to kind of keep an overall monitoring of your temperature day and night. And again, you saw the data that comes out of it over here. You've actually got every 10 minutes your readings, both skin temperature and body temperature, and shown on the graph up here as well. So the KW37 comes to us from Banggood. It's a Kingwear product. Kingwear's made some fine watches. In fact, the flagship KW88 Android smartwatch for years, that was the top of the line, the one everybody measured against. Unfortunately, they've gotten out of doing Android watches, but they're migrating into more sports and fitness watches. We'd call this one a health watch, basically. Again, it's got temperature detection on it. It's ultra thin, as they say. It does look very attractive, and it's very inexpensive considering all the things that it'll do. So we appreciate if you'd use the link in the show notes to head over to Banggood and pick it up. If I've got a coupon discount, I'll list that there for you. And you have been watching Smartwatch Tics. We are at smartwatchtics.com. Be sure to share that social media with your friends. We got a lot of interesting stuff coming on the market now, all health focused. Wow, yeah. So have a look, and we'll see you again soon.